period on behalf of the town of Goshen. So where coverage would have been triggered would have been in the public officials section of the policy.
If you don't, I think what Doug was just getting at, though, is that, for instance, on Owens Road, the insurance company did respond to them. Okay, because you found coverage. I think it was in the public office.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. The other, take ADC, similar suit. We were denied coverage in that instance. And do I get the impression, I think that Doug was leading, we were charged X number of dollars because of that potential claim, the review, analysis.
You weren't billed for anything.
You weren't. No, but it seems to indicate that somehow our premium was adjusted up.
By the loss?
No.
I can't honestly say that.
Okay.
But I can probably say if you have quite a few claims submitted. Okay.
Right, but let me go back to that.
They do charge $850 a
See, as the board knows, as a general practice, anytime we get sued, even though it may be clear on its face that I don't believe there would be necessary coverage for the defense, I still will submit for analysis and review, just as precautionary.
Right.
And what I'm saying to you is, does that engender potentially a premium increase?
No.
Not a premium, but it does engender that we must send it to the insurance company.
I understand.
It's our right and duty.
Oh yeah, no, I have no problem with that. I just got the impression we were getting penalized.
No, you are not.
But he's going to find that out, what the factor is, because it may be one of the factors.
But with the 6 claims, 5 of them, I could tell you there was not going to be any coverage. I was surprised that we had coverage on the one.
And Selective did not bill the town.
No. I know they didn't bill.
that.
I was responding to an indication that the premium had gone up because of those potential 6 claims. I was just trying to clarify.
And he will find that out.
Okay.
Part of the loss.
Okay.
The loss.
Proceed on with your...
Anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Are we done?
Well, it's...
All right.
It's not that we don't have any money or anything.
I appreciate it.
Is this a tough year or what?
I understand the times.
Okay.
The crime policy is written with the travelers, and there's no change with that over last year. All right. Let's move on to the comparison that I have, unless you have any other questions for me before we do that. Okay. The comparison with NYMER and Selective Insurance Company. Going to the last page, we want to get that out of the way, and then we can discuss the coverages. NYMER's premium is $151,946. I'm sorry, $152,262.86. Plus, you have an annual capitalization fee of $2,500 a year for 5 years if you wish to purchase that program. And that's obviously a significant difference in premium between what the Selective Insurance Company program premium is and what NYMER is offering. NYMER does have some. Obviously, NYMER is a very big operation. They insure hundreds and hundreds of municipalities in the state of New York. And they do have some coverages in here which Selective doesn't have, but I'm not sure in the long run that would make that much of a difference.
But if I look at that page, I mean, I don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but I mean, for example, public official liability, NYMER is going to charge $36,000, give or take. Selective's $15,500. I mean, the next line down, law enforcement liability, $32,000. $12,700. I mean, I don't know how we could why we should, I mean, in this case, let her ride and don't even make the explanation, because I think we'll go through a lot of these at the end of the day, unless there's something significant in here we think that we're getting in, that we have to have.
You mean in this proposal?
In this proposal.
No.
Their defense fees are included.
You mean between NYMER and Selective?
Yeah.
Okay.
The difference between $152,000 and $108,000 is significant. And I'm just looking at some of these line items, and it says, oh, okay. But unless you want to go through each line item, I don't see it.
Not on the back page.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what Mary just said, the defense fees are included? That's what you just...
Selective's policy under public officials and police will charge you back a deductible of $7,500.
Right.
Whereas the NYMER program
will not,
unless they pay claimant number A
on an indemnity.
Oh, yeah, they don't
Unless pay
get
the
charged for
Right.
the defense fees, just
Right.
like they...
That's the only difference, so,
And the only other the one other difference is asbestos. They offer $50,000 for asbestos cleanup if you had a fire or something, whereas Selective's policy does not provide asbestos coverage or asbestos.
But the basic deductible is about $7,500 on
Yes.
both policies?
On NYMER too? Or
No.
On normal?
NYMER's also,
Right. But they NYMER only pays the $7,500.
Bills.
It bills it back to the municipality if they pay an indemnity.
where Selective will bill you whether they pay them or not.
correct.
Right.
Well, they'll bill you for the first $7,500, and that'll go toward their legal fees. I had an issue with that.
Yeah, right, we caught.
I had a real issue
Yeah, we don't
with that,
call
yeah.
one on, I can't remember, the piece of litigation.
Ripper.
Was it? Okay.
Well, there were 3 companies, and they were getting $21,000 in deductibles, and I think the claim may only be $25,000, of which we'll have paid $21,000, not us. Well, 2 of the 3. So I just...
That's
you
because
need to
Travelers
understand that.
representing 2 different companies on their behalf.
Absolutely. So we're going to fix that one too.
I can say that Selective's coverages, other than one area, abuse and molestation, coverages are exactly the same as they were last year. The building contents limit was increased slightly. Last year we had $7,147,000 on building contents of a blanket limit. This year it's $7,340,000. All the deductibles this year are the same as they were last year. And the abuse and molestation form is broader this year than it was last year. And they also offer what they call innocent employee, volunteer, and student in training, limited civil expense coverage. And what that does, it provides if an employee, an innocent employee, it turns out to be they're innocent, a volunteer, a student in training, if it turns out that they didn't have any, if they're sued personally, and it turns out they didn't have anything to do with the situation, Selective will pay for civil legal defense up to $50,000 per person, with a total of $250,000 in an aggregate policy year. So it's something that we didn't have last year. It's something they enhanced their program with this year.
Did you just do the one thing when you started the premiums on the 40 years and the 5 years?
Oh, sure.
I came in and I woke up in the middle of that.
Okay. Prior acts, if you were to change coverage, the policy automatically provides you with 1 year of extended reporting, meaning that if a claim is come March, if a claim is reported, claims in the public official's claim, and you don't have full prior acts on the new policy, your policy would respond for a 12-month period, and they would have to provide coverage for that period of time. However, sometimes you might not feel comfortable with just 1 year. You might want 2 or 3. If that happens, then you can purchase 5 years of coverage. But the 5 years of coverage will cost, it's 200% to the policy. It's 200% of last year's premium, which would then be $26,000.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You know, when we're buying home insurance, I know we can get a lower premium if we want to be self-insured to some degree by paying a bigger deductible. Do you have any suggestions, looking through these pages, of things that we could do in that regard that would save us mega dollars in...
No, not really, because right now we already have pretty considerable deductibles. We have on the automobile, we have 1,000 on collision, on the building here. We might be able to reduce a little bit if we increased our deductible on building contents from 1,000 to maybe either $2,500 to $5,000.
But those 2 losses we had where the water flew down, that wouldn't, you'd have to self-insure the first $5,000 of that, or $2,500. I don't know.
Versus $1,000 today.
The elevator shaft.
Yeah, that was expensive.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they defended us very well. I'm pleased with Selective. I mean,
don't know,
just all that said and done, I'm just telling you that I thought they gave us very good representation.
I know the attorneys they have on staff are excellent.
I went through an EBT on one, a couple of hour EBT, and she was very thorough and it was very professional. So, I mean, all the things, while I'm grilling you for price,
No, I understand it.
I'm just telling you that we have.
We worked on the price too,
good coverage.
we really did.
Okay.
Kind of takes me in a little bit to the one claim that we had, where we got, it's under the automobile, Scotchtown. That originally was presented under the public officials liability and general liability, which was turned down on both. And I must say, Mary contacted Selective and talked about there must be something going on. And they discussed it, they talked about it, and it did arise. Our position was it arose out of an automobile, even though
You're talking about
Scotchtown
Scotchtown water
Holdings.
Yeah,
That's the holdings, that's the contamination of the salt. Yeah, they defended us.
Right.
How did it come out of an automobile though?
Yeah.
Because,
They got it covered under the auto policy.
They got it covered that way.
we had it covered under the automobile section.
Because it arose out of the use
It's
of
loading and
automobile.
unloading.
In other words, you were denied coverage under
Right.
your other aspects of the
Correct.
policy.
Okay.
Yeah, no, in fact, just want to point out something to you. Mary Beth did find that coverage, if you will. That case is rearing its head again, just so you're aware. It's being resubmitted again.
Currently, we have.
So you're aware.
We have 35.
Yeah, they have new attorneys.
Currently, we have $35,000, paid?
And expenses.
Paid expenses of $35,000 today,
That's Scotchtown.
and our reserve is $52,000. And they're looking at this again, they might have to raise it again.
When you say they're looking at it again,
They have it,
The case got dismissed originally within a year, they closed it, but the attorneys representing the plaintiff reopened it under negligence and some other allegations, and also named the town of Hampton as well. So they reopened the case under a different, what do you call it, the sections of the...
different basis, different...
Yes, a different theory on why you're in there, so now it's reopened all over again. And to handle a pollution liability case, it's different than handling an auto liability or a general liability. Pollution, the court proceedings are different, they're timely, and...
I don't know if other companies would have done this.
okay.
Okay, so maybe they would have, but the fact that you were with Selective for 7 years might very well have something to do with their looking at it in a different light. I don't know, but it's being taken care of and defended.
And there's only one other case that, Mr. Sullivan, that case was also an expense to the company to get out, but...
Yes.
Is that dismissed?
Yes, I'm sure it was.
You'll probably get a bill, so, but...
That case is not done.
Yeah, it's closed.
It was closed. This morning, they said it was closed.
Closed.
And
It was closed, it's open for collection of the amount you're probably gonna be billed.
That's like $2,500.
But, no, wait, he didn't get anything, right?
No,
Okay.
that's your deductible again.
Right, so there was no award.
no,
Okay.
it's closed, no payment.
Oh, okay.
But we still have to pay the deductible.
That is
We're
true.
with the other insurance company,
That is
we're
true.
with that's...
Your premium
I got that,
becomes
I got that.
But on the light case, you don't have any frivolous or nuisance cases, you're ahead of the game.
We haven't nailed that yet.
I'm on TV there.
Is the JRC case still going?
Yes,
Okay.
mediation on 14.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So did you want us to get an alternate quote of like a $5,000 deductible on the property, buildings,
I don't think so.
but not in the marine equipment, not in the marine equipment where...
Yeah, just a quote, because,
It depends on what it saves.
yeah, if it saves, at least the quote won't hurt, then we
One
can...
good section, one good policy. Again, we get back to public officials. If you want to, I don't know if you saw that or not, by comparison on the public officials liability,
Right.
you go in about 7 or 8 pages. See, it's right after. Right after it says automobile, on the next page says public officials liability.
How come you didn't on this page?
I should.
That gives us something to do here.
Got it.
I didn't get to that? No. I'm sorry.
It looks similar to this one, that's like,
Cover the page.
it says public
Public
officials
officials.
Up with it.
liability.
Just count from the
Not left
front
hand.
down.
Next to that.
Count from the front down. Next to last?
Yep, yeah, you got it.
The top left is public liability.
This is a very comprehensive policy.
Yeah.
Oh, next to last, right.
Need some help, Dennis?
I do,